Having said that, let me also get into the alphabet soup of these abbreviations, because now India and America signed BECA, what is called as BECA, which is Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. I can add two more words after that, for geospatial intelligence. You know, all strategic communities like abbreviations, whether they make any sense or not, or whether they rhyme or not. I think they should take help from Mr. Modi, who will give them nice rhyming abbreviations. This one at least is BECA, simple. I will come to some others which are not so simple. Now, what this means is that for the first time, India now has real-time access to satellite data from American resources. Geospatial is satellite. It's not just GPS data. It is data that aircraft need. It is data that missiles need. It's also data that missiles in flight need. So when you target a missile, it goes from point A to point B, which may be hundreds of miles or maybe thousands of miles away. At every stage, the missile needs guidance. Usually these missiles have inertial guidance systems. But you can always go a little bit astray here and there. So you might say this is a missile over this much distance, has a 1 kilometer accuracy. Good for a nuclear weapon, not good enough for a conventional weapon. And in any case, more accurate the better. And similarly, other weapons might have 100 meters, but you want them to be much more precise. So while you have the inertial guidance, if you get active guidance, which means if satellites up there are constantly tracking your missile, and whenever it strays a little bit, tell it, beta, thoda side pe ho jao, right? It all happens automatically. I am oversimplifying it. Then it becomes a lot better. And it is now with this agreement and this set of agreements that the systems that India is buying from America, that is C-17 Globemasters, that is C-130 Hercules aircraft, is a transport aircraft, Chinooks, the helicopters, Apaches, the attack helicopters, all these can now have operational level communication equipment and flying aids. So far they had been sold to India, sold to us with commercial level flying aids and commercial level communication equipment. Now that you've signed this agreement, you get into full technical communication cooperation with the Americans. So that is the big thing that's happened. Now, India is not one of the very few countries to have signed this. America actually has, I think at this point, 58 countries with which it has signed BECA. But a lot of countries fly American equipment also, use American equipment. Now, how did this start? We talk about the lost decades of India-America relations. And it's God's own truth that it's China which has tried to bring India and America together so desperately over 60 years. And it looks like now it may be succeeding. It nearly succeeded the first time. India and America came together during the 62 war. There was an American military mission in Delhi, but then India had many changes. Nehru died and other things happened, and India took a turn to the left and India went to the Soviet Union. So that was the first time China pushed India towards America, but then could not achieve that mission. I am being sarcastic. The Chinese never wanted to do that, but their actions led to this. Now the way the Chinese are behaving, it has taken out a lot of the hesitations and hypocrisies from the past in the Indian establishment. So Indian establishment lost a decade of, besides the nuclear deal, India lost a decade in strengthening its strategic ties with America in the UPA decade. Because what happened was that with the nuclear deal, it was so punch drunk, the left it, and the essential character of UPA was left, and they had the old Cold Warrior mindset. So I think Sonia Gandhi and the party got tired of Manmohan Singh's, what they saw as his enthusiasm for America. So that's the reason many of these agreements did not take place. They should have taken place much earlier. But in 2002, Vajpayee started the process. Vajpayee government started the process. He first used the expression also of India and America being strategic partners, and he signed in 2002. And I told you these are abbreviations which make no sense to me because they don't rhyme. That's where they need to consult Narendra Modi. So this was GSMOIA. I don't know how you say it in one word. So GSMOIA was General Security of Military Information Agreement. This was signed in 2002. This way, the two countries basically committed to share information with each other and not leak it to others. Then in 2009, it took 7 years after that, 2009, and this is the only agreement that the UPA government signed with the Americans. They signed an agreement called End User Monitoring Agreement, EUM, End User Monitoring Equipment. So when you buy equipment from America, capital equipment or significant equipment, because they sell it to you, Americans have the practice of holding the right to see where you are using it, so that you don't sell it to somebody they don't like, so that you don't use it against one of their allies. They have the same deal with the Pakistanis. That's why they track their F-16s all the time. Now there were hesitations in India, but 2009 Manmohan Singh government signed it with the Americans. That's around time Obama was coming to India, and that's around time, if I take you back, when these C-17s and C-130s were ordered, because these are heavy aviation systems. They are not built in a day. You have to order them far ahead. So this agreement obviously enabled India and America to sign that deal. That was a government to government sale. Then you come to Logistics Exchange Memorandum Agreement. Once again, at least this rhymes. You can call it LEMOA. Logistics Exchange Memorandum Agreement. After 2009, India and America waited 7 more years. Importantly, this agreement was signed when Obama was still in power. So the important thing is that these agreements have been signed through the tenures of NDA, that is BJP without a majority, BJP with a majority, in the middle with UPA, and now in America with Bush administration, Obama administration, and now with Trump administration. So on both sides, this indicates bipartisan support for this. As I said, UPA might have been more shy, but remember, UPA took the big step of signing the nuclear deal, which, as I said, left them a bit fatigued and punch drunk in terms of domestic politics. Then after this LEMOA, there was another agreement, and that agreement was COMCASA. Now COMCASA, you might have, if you've been studying these things, you might have also seen something called SISMOA. So what is SISMOA and what is COMCASA? Now what India and America signed is COMCASA, not SISMOA. Now SISMOA was complex. Communication Compatibility and Security Agreement. That's what happens when you have similar weapon systems, so the same weapon systems. So this SISMOA was essential if India wanted to use American weapon systems well, and also for Indian and American forces to operate together for interoperability. So it was essential for India to sign an agreement like this, because this agreement then gives either side access to encrypted communications from both sides. Now for India to be able to use American equipment freely and to their full potential, and for the two defense forces to be able to have genuine interoperability, they needed this communication security, and they needed to be able to share the secure communication. But India had many concerns here, because India also has equipment from many other sources, especially Russia. Now 2/3 of Indian Air Force's aircraft are Russian. Bulk of the missiles are Russian. India is now buying S-400 missiles, which are top of the line surface to air missiles in the entire world, very high tech. Americans have great concerns about their technology and the Russian technology getting mixed up, or their technology leaking. So India wanted safeguards for itself also, because India also wants strategic and tactical autonomy at that level. So there were modifications, India-specific modifications made to SISMOA, which was called COMCASA. COMCASA was signed just the other day, just about a year back, 6 September 2019. So you've seen this flurry of agreements between 2016 and now 2020. Three of these are what is called as foundational agreements in a defense relationship. And BECA today is one of those. So BECA, COMCASA and LEMOA. These are foundational agreements. What is LEMOA? You just read about LEMOA quite a bit recently, because an American P-8 aircraft landed in Andamans at one of our air bases and refueled and got service there. This essentially means that our defense forces can use each other's facilities without any hesitation. Remember, in our country, it was a big deal that how can you let Americans or any other forces use your facilities? It was Chandrasekhar with his very weak government in early 1991 during the Gulf War, who allowed American aircraft traveling between Diego Garcia and the Gulf region to refuel in India. It was a brave act on his part, but that led to a political furor, because that was so against this Indian temperament and Indian America phobia. This now shows you that all that is over. In fact, this agreement has been signed today. You haven't even seen a whisper of protest from any political party in India. That is the distance that India and America have traveled in these 2 decades.